Are you one with nature, Lacey? Yes. You love laying in the grass where it's nice and cool.
I'm not gonna rub your stomach.
Yeah, after laying in that puddle. Yeah, you found a vole or something in there, didn't you? It's got the earth loosened up quite a bit. She's just really interested in finding what's down there. Are you done? Lacey's just like, what in the world is that dog doing? Right, Lacey? You little puppy dog. Lacey Lou and Bellaroo.
What if I do this, huh? Does that help you?
Alright, it's gonna help you with your hogging. She's definitely right into it. Told me it had started, but it didn't. So we laid down cardboard first. The purpose of that is to stop all of the grass and weeds from growing up into the garden. And it works surprisingly well. So by the time the cardboard decomposes, most of the grass roots and grass itself will have died off. There'll be very little in the way of weeds and whatnot that comes up through that. And then we put a layer of dirt on top of the cardboard. That's obvious. And then on top of that, we put some non-woven, or no, it's actually woven landscaping cloth. What that does is keeps the weeds that are in the soil that we spread out from growing. So when we seed into this, we'll just either cut a little hole or just make a cross and drop the seed in. Makes for a little bit of extra work up front to get the seeds in, but the long-term benefit is that we won't be out here weeding 3 times a day, because I can guarantee you that's what it would be otherwise. So once we got the landscape fabric on, then the only other concern is weeds growing up into the dirt that we put down here and taking over the garden. So we've laid 6mm plastic around and stapled that down to the ground. I'm just going to grab some of the rocks that are laying around, you know, like down in there. Grab a bunch of those, bring them up, and just lay them on the plastic so that the plastic doesn't blow away. So we are out behind the back of the shop now. where the garage door is, but last time I was out moving dirt, I piled some more back in here on this little loop around driveway. As you can see, the grass is growing up rapidly already, and of course all the weeds that go with it. So last summer I had been down in there pulling out some trees and stumps, trying to clear the way for nicer vegetation. We definitely need to get chickens or goats or sheep or something in there. Otherwise it'll all be 6-foot tall weeds again. Definitely don't need that. It's definitely getting green. Almost all of the trees have budded now. Some of them are almost in full leaf. It's just beautiful, and it's not even May yet. April started out really cold. We still had cold spells up until about I don't know, even less than a week ago. It's April 24th now, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Almost like a really good summer day up in the North Country. We've got rock kind of lining around here now. Over the next few days we'll gather up some more and just make sure that this plastic isn't going to go anywhere. Most people who do no-dig gardening would put like a piece of lumber or something down and kind of stake it into the ground, but given the price of lumber nowadays, I think we will forgo that and get a little bit more creative. We will never put a spade or a tiller on our garden space. The only thing we will do is once a year is add half an inch or more if necessary, if it needs it, of compost and a little bit of mulch in it. And that's it. Eventually even the fabric would be able to come off, and weeding would be like a once a week 15-minute task on something like this, maybe even less, 5 minutes.
Mr. David Cano's birthday was coming up, and his wife Jess was planning a surprise birthday party for him. Cheryl was in San Jose and was going to fly into Richmond through Chicago. When the weekend came, I jumped in the car and drove up to Richmond. I was going to meet Dave at a bluegrass festival. Boy, was he surprised when I showed up there. I didn't get any pictures or video of the festival, but it didn't look like this, nor did it look like this, and it definitely didn't look like this. Meanwhile, Cheryl was stuck in Chicago. Her flight was delayed, so Dave and I hopped in the car and we went downtown. He still didn't know what was coming.
Celebrate last week. Oh yeah. What's going on, man?
Happy 50th, Dave. We love you, man. After the party was over, Cheryl was still being delayed, so we went over to Dave and Jess's place and hung out there for a while. And Cheryl's flight was still delayed, so we hung out for a little while longer. And Cheryl's plane was still delayed, so we hung out for a while longer. And then a while longer. We finally all went to the airport to pick Cheryl up at 4 a.m. Next day, Cheryl and I hung out with Dave and Jess for a while. Then we hopped in the car and drove back home.
Well, this appears to be our first bona fide thunderstorm of the year, which means it is officially spring now. Here comes the rain. Things are picking up now. Hiding at the back of the carport, still getting wet. our Charlie Brown walnut tree. He was bent over by vines and whatnot, and so we have a rope on him to at least hold up the trunk part of him until he gets strong enough to grow straight by his own self. So we're back behind the shop. We have a little cluster of trees here. This little guy is our one of our
Persimmon trees, Armin. Persimmon.
Anyway, there's a couple cedars back in here that I need to knock down because I want to make room for this little guy who is a volunteer white ash. Right now the ash trees are being destroyed by beetles, and this guy looks like he's fairly healthy. In spite of the abuse that he got over the last couple of years when he come in here and clean this, he's still growing, so we're going to encourage that. We've been trying to get insulation up into the roof. Being that it's 5 feet wide, it's a little bit of a challenge. Let me flip you around here. And so you can see we actually had this end taped up here. It didn't hold, so we're going to have to put strapping in to hold it up and help a little bit with managing the weight of the insulation. So the challenge here is actually getting the insulation up high enough that I can stick it to the tape and then hold it there without the insulation detaching from the tape and falling back down. So we're doing a little bit of fabrication to try to solve this problem, and we'll show a little bit of the build, and then hopefully the end result will do what we need it to do.